Moose Country, welcome to another episode of Let Us Be Heard.
What's up, everybody? Colin back here for another episode of Let Us Be Heard. Today's guest is a former Moosehead. He was with the team for a short time at the end of his career. He was traded to us in a December trade, and that was his last year in the queue. So it's going to be an interesting take on what it's like to come to the herd just before the end of your Q career. Hope you guys all enjoy the interview. Please welcome Ozzy King. Ozzy King, what's up, man? How you doing?
Not too bad, Colin. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on again. I already explained to people that we were missing the audio from the first attempt. So hopefully this take will be as good as the first one.
Yeah, no problem. Gives me a chance to go again.
Right on, buddy. So we'll go with the fact that you only spent half a year with the Moose. You were traded to us at the Christmas deadline, correct?
Yep.
What was the experience like in Halifax? You're a hometown boy. What was it like coming back playing for the herd?
Oh, it was awesome. You know, when you step out on that Scotiabank ice, like you've been in the stands growing up your entire life. It really is different. Like, it looks a lot bigger. And it was awesome, you know, get to play in front of my family and friends. Always going to be grateful for that. Yeah.
Awesome, man. And do you have any like favorite Moose memories, whether it was against or while with us?
Oh, yeah. I scored a couple on gravy there when I was first year in Moncton. Those were some big goals. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I always kind of liked playing Halifax. Like, I definitely had a few good games in Halifax, but it was just such a short COVID cut year that I definitely had a lot more fun playing them. Yeah, big. I just scored. Like to score against Halifax. It was weird.
No, I get it. I do, because I mean, you know, you weren't on the team, so you got to let them know what they're missing, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The rivalry was real between Moncton and Halifax. It always has been. Did you feel that coming into the arena or playing for Moncton?
Oh yeah, like in playoffs there, Halifax swept us, and we were a really good team, better team than next year. But every goal was a 1-goal game there, and you guys had a heavy team that year. There's a couple boys I did not like going in the corners against.
You want to drop a name or two?
Oh well, like Bo's obviously built like a tank. Jared McIsaac's a good buddy of mine. He definitely, if he saw me coming down the boards, he'd love to take an opportunity to hit me. Oh, there it is right there. I like it. I like it. Yeah.
That's
yeah, all
awesome.
those guys. Like their average height was like 6 foot. It was nuts. And I'm a tall guy too. I can't really complain, but skinny.
We typically have a small team. Like this year, we're pretty small. Your average is around 6 foot, right? But yeah, I think our biggest right now is McKinnon. But he's dominant. He's a dominant force on the ice. What was it like playing from home? Like you know, now you've come back from Moncton, and like, were you welcomed with open arms by the Moose?
Oh yeah, for sure. One of my best friends growing up, Jordy McKenna, just joined the team a few months before I got traded. So he was just like the comedy star of the dressing room there. So he put in a good word for the boys. So I basically stepped in, and we had a good little group there. You know, we were really young and kind of like 6 guys brought it at the deadline, but good time. We had a good time. Yeah.
So who did you
won a few games, and
who did you travel with to the? As you're speaking of, you know, you had a couple friends there. Who did you travel with on the way to practices and games and stuff?
I'd always travel with Jordy McKenna, and then Kevin Gersel. He lived pretty close to my house there, so I'd pick him up, or he'd pick me up a few times. He actually lived with one of my really good friends too. Awesome. So yeah, and D'Artagnan Jolie a few times. We drive him. Gravy, yeah.
That's
awesome.
All
the Dark boys. Yeah.
It's funny because I've spoken to a lot of players, and a lot of them say that travel time was some of the best, like, team building at times. Like, you know, you're jamming to music, you get to find what each other listens to and such, and
oh yeah, for sure.
It's pretty cool.
We like to poke fun at the Montreal guys because they never knew where they were going around town. Me and Jordy be in the same car, not giving them any help.
That's mean, man.
Yeah.
So what were your billets like in Moncton? And I'm gonna add on to that. Did you prefer sleeping in your own bed as opposed to being in a stranger's house?
My billets were awesome. Yeah, they had some young kids, so that was awesome. Like it's definitely like tough at times because you know what young kids are, right? But they were sweet. They loved hockey. They loved me. Bill dad was in the military there, so when the Mem Cup came to town, like he got to watch over it. That was pretty cool. But yeah, like sorry, what was the second part of that question again?
It's all right, man.
Yeah, it's all good.
Did you prefer living with a billet, playing hockey, or
Oh, yeah. I mean, nothing beats your own bed,
yeah,
right? Like it definitely like it was cool getting away from my parents, obviously, because I was younger and
yeah.
everyone's very excited to get away from their parents first time. But it's once you get out, you're like, oh, I had it pretty good there, right? So and yeah, I got a good mattress at home, so I was I was excited to get back to it for sure.
That's awesome, man. And you had a lot more support here, like when it comes to like people coming to the games, I would assume.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Now it's all
Couple sessions every night for sure.
that being said though, it's only 2 hour drive, 2.5 hour drive. So I'm assuming your parents or family members went up quite a bit to watch you play in Moncton, eh?
Oh yeah, whenever my parents could swing it with work, like they'd come up, they'd come see me play. I had a few buddies came up a few times, stay at my billet house and stuff. Like, yeah, it was. I mean, yeah, you're only 2.5 hours away from
Yeah.
home, right? So
Like
it's not too bad.
I know McKinnon's parents, they're from Moncton, and they come down almost to every game, right? Like it's
Yeah.
right. While playing for the Moose, for Moncton, were you still a Moose fan at heart, or was it like screw them guys?
Oh yeah, no, I had a few buddies on Moose still, so and I liked seeing them do good because they were really good that year, and you guys lost in the Mem Cup final, and like that was your year. You guys were really good.
We lost to the
And it was
same.
we lost you in playoffs, so we could have been like, oh, we lost to the Memorial Cup
Yeah,
winners.
we lost to the same team that year in the Mem Cup that we lost to the President's Cup.
Yeah,
It was the same team that beat us out both tournaments, or both.
that
Yeah.
that Dobson guy's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it was bad, man. So you touched briefly on COVID. What did that do to your game? Like, just walk us through like the first few months of it and the uncertainty and what actually went on for you.
Well, I actually got injured right before COVID hurt. I needed a shoulder surgery, and it got delayed for like around a year just because they weren't doing general surgeries. So I kind of had to rehab that, but it couldn't heal like correctly. It needed a surgery. So I tried to go play junior A after that, and then I really just needed the surgery. So then a year after that, into COVID, I got my surgery, and yeah, that's kind of where I went from there. Like it definitely, if I would have got the surgery, it could have played out a little bit differently. But it just my upper body's turned into a little bit of a nightmare.
It's funny. A lot of people don't realize what you young guys. I mean, yes, you're young. You're strong, but they don't realize what you guys put your bodies through. Like it's like the amount of injuries that we get year in year out is crazy, and these are things that are gonna follow you around for life. Some of them, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, looking back on it, like I wish I would have been a little bit smarter with things, like, but it's a business, right? Like
All right.
you got to do it.
How's the shoulder feeling now?
It's not too bad. I'm waiting on I think one more surgery, but I've got full range of motion and still bothers me a little bit, like sleeping and all that. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Looking to
So
maybe get back on the ice soon.
that's actually one of my questions. So you touched on the playoffs a bit. That few people get to the level of major junior, let alone play in the Memorial Cup or playoffs. What was your playoff experience like? How does that register on the things that you've completed in your life?
Oh, playoffs, yeah, it's definitely it's different. I was kind of like a 13th, 12th forward in Moncton, so I didn't get in right away, but then I ended up playing a couple big games against Bakemo and Halifax, and I never really like fully got a shot. Like I don't want to say I didn't because I did, but like I've always been kind of a clutch player, and I was pretty good in playoffs. Like I brought a few scoring opportunities, had some apples and everything. But I definitely would have liked one more run. Like that would have been cool for sure. Like one solid run where I was in the lineup and all that, because like I had a good midget playoffs and all that. It would have been fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And you're good friends with another clutch player, correct? One that was on the Mooseheads in Mr. LaRue.
Yep. Happy.
Happy, yeah. I gotta ask, man. I think I know the answer to this. I think it's because he's always smiling. But is that the reason he got that nickname?
Yeah, he's always smiling. He's always laughing and everything. Like he's just a funny guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good shit.
Mhm.
So I'm just looking at my questions here. Sorry, I got into the conversation and forgot to check my next question. So you talked about maybe getting back into it. Is this a plan for you? Like you're not involved in hockey right now. You're busy working, but is hockey on your list of things to accomplish again? Like to get back into?
Yeah, like I definitely want to get back into it. Like I don't know if I ever want to pursue it like in any physical way again, where I'm like putting myself out there, because I've given enough to the game in my opinion. But I definitely wouldn't mind getting back on the ice, and if not, like just coaching somewhere. Like I definitely do miss the rink still. So yeah.
You're in the perfect place for coaching right now, man. You're in Cole Harbor, and I know them people are the Cole Harbor place is always screaming for people who can teach the sport.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. But
Depend.
I ride with the Whalers around here. This is
Oh,
Whalers Nation.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I know DePenta is very big into Cole Harbor hockey. Joe,
Mhm.
one of our former Mooseheads, that also being spoken about. I would suggest maybe contacting somebody from the Moose organization. They're talking about an alumni organization for former Mooseheads. And there was even talks of possibly a former player versus current player scrummage. So I mean, like, if you're into that, man, I would contact the office and see if that's still a go or if that's something that they're still thinking about doing.
Yeah, for sure. I told you this last time. Like I'll reach out, but I could probably name 50 Moose forwards who are better than me, right? So
don't
so
don't sell yourself
I'll
short,
come
man.
hold a little Moose pointing finger there in the stands and start cheering.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How do you feel about the removing of fighting? We touched on it on the last time we spoke. It's a hot topic. I don't think it's going anywhere until we see how it plays out in the rest of the leagues in the CHL. But what do you think about it? Is it a good move? You think it's a bad move?
Well, you see where they're coming from, just because it's basically young kids fighting on ice, which isn't very safe. But at the same time, like it's always been part of the game. Like everyone knows what they're getting into at the most part, and yeah, it's just weird things could happen if you take it out, right? It's a form of protection for some guys. If people are running around, that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I got to tell you, I don't know of very many people, probably half a dozen in the history, well, in my history with hockey, who have been taken out of hockey completely because of a fight. I know tons that had bad hits and are out because of that, but never because of a fight. Do you still follow the Mooseheads? Do you attend games? Do you follow the QMJHL?
Yeah, like I fall in there. I haven't been to a game in too long. Actually, my first time back in the Scotiabank Center was this Saturday. There, we went to the Thunderbirds game, but I gotta get back to a game here soon. I told you this last time too. Like I feel like criminal a little bit, because playoff hockey like only excites me now. Like I don't even watch too many NHL regular season games and all that. Like just I don't know. It's weird.
I get it.
I'd like to see the Moose go on a good little run this year for sure. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
You're not the only one, man. I'm a Habs fan, and I can't stand watch them until they make it to the playoffs. And let's face it, this year doesn't look like it's gonna happen, bud.
No.
So you're not still involved. That's okay. What are you doing now? What have you been up to?
I'm an electrician. I'm an apprentice actually, but I'm just working through my hours, and yeah, I'm just working for a good little startup company and building automation, and
Nice.
just kind of enjoying life.
And you're working pretty close to the Scotiabank Center right now.
Yeah, I've been in Scotia Square lots over the past month for sure, and yeah, I walk by the rink a whole lot for sure.
So, is there anything that you could say to current Mooseheads or future Mooseheads players? A word of advice? Anything you'd like to say to the organization? Anything? It's your platform. Whatever you'd like to say. I know the fans would love to hear from you. Believe it or not, I think we had this talk last time, but you were a fan favorite. There's a lot of people who actually mentioned your name when we were talking about doing these interviews. So you were a fan favorite. So you must have been big on the fan interaction.
Yeah, no, it's, just I like to think of myself as a just super lighthearted guy. You know, I never take anything too seriously. Maybe I should have took things a little bit more seriously, but I thought when it came to the ice, like I definitely flipped the switch. But no, I'm super grateful to everyone at Halifax, the fans at Halifax. Like growing up, like I was always a smaller kid, all that. Like I never thought I'd ever be playing for the Mooseheads or anything like that, right? And you grow kids, just drink your milk, keep practicing your shot, and you never know what'll happen.
That's awesome. Listen, man, thanks again for your time. I really do appreciate you. That was Ozzy King. I hope you're all healthy, safe, and happy out there. And as always, go Moose, go.